And Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges, 5 counts and all. Let's go ahead and bring in our Rena Roy for the latest on this story. And Rena, good to see you again. In this story here, the judge criticized lawyers on both sides for failing to find qualified jurors and said, quote, "We are running out of time."
The courtroom is packed with prospective jurors. They're filing in 50 at a time, and the judge says he wants to see at least 150 before the end of the day. They were all asked to fill out a long questionnaire in advance.
The news has learned that a jury is expected to be seated tomorrow in the racketeering and sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. More prospective jurors questioned today to make up the group of 18 people needed to officially begin the trial on schedule on May 12th. And Combs has pleaded.
Among the questions, have you been impacted by allegations of rape? And what are your views of artists in the hip-hop community?
The celebrity factor. Everyone in the entire world has heard about the allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. And another factor is there's a key piece of evidence that's already been revealed to the public. Of course, that's the 2016 video CNN obtained of Diddy seemingly beating Cassie Ventura at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles.
Man, that gotta be a lonely feeling sitting at the table, picking the people that's about to decide the rest of your life. And just the other day, it seems like you was sitting at that table. You had all that power. You was the one calling the shots. You was the one picking the person. Now, somebody else got the power. And you just got to sit there. Man, I almost feel bad for you. But, hey, another video. If you like it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch y'all at the other end.
All right, let's dive into the wild twists unfolding right now in the Diddy case. It's already shaping up to be a courtroom drama no one expected, throwing shockwaves through the legal world even before the real action begins. The stakes couldn't be higher, and what's happening behind the scenes is absolutely mind-bending. The ghost witness. Just as jury selection kicks off, a major bombshell hits. A key alleged victim, known as victim number 3, has vanished. Reports claim this person is dodging calls from prosecutors and their own lawyers, flat out stating they don't plan on showing up in New York City to testify, despite being slapped with a subpoena. This is putting immense pressure on the prosecution team. They're reportedly struggling just to make contact. The judge themselves had to step in, urging the feds to pull out all the stops to reach the witness's attorney and get them into the courtroom. This missing person is a massive roadblock right at the start, leaving everyone wondering if this crucial testimony will ever see the light of day. But that wasn't the only problem popping up immediately. The jury selection nightmare. Meanwhile, inside the courtroom, the process of picking a jury has become a chaotic minefield. They started with a massive pool of over 150 potential jurors, but finding people who can actually serve without deep-seated bias is proving incredibly difficult and painfully slow. It's highlighted just how much the intense media coverage and public discussion surrounding Diddy have complicated everything, making the hunt for impartial jurors feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. Bias exposed, jurors dropping like flies. As jury questioning got underway, a steady stream of potential jurors were quickly disqualified, revealing just how much public perception has already influenced things. One stunning example involved a person who was dismissed after admitting they read news articles about jury selection on their way home from court, even though they are part of the process. This person was described as a trained lawyer, making the admission even more baffling and proving they couldn't follow basic instructions. Other potential jurors were immediately excused after confessing they already held negative views of Diddy based on what they'd heard or seen in the news. One person even said they already leaned towards him having committed the crimes, completely undermining the presumption of innocence required in court. Concerns about Diddy's access to considerable wealth potentially influencing the trial's outcome also led to some dismissals. Even personal connections, like having family members involved in law enforcement or the legal system, became grounds for being sent home, showcasing the myriad ways outside factors are interfering with seating an unbiased jury. The haunting shadow of the video. Perhaps the biggest hurdle in jury selection comes from the infamous 2016 hotel video involving Diddy and his ex-girlfriend, Cassie. Although this video is not the basis for the criminal charges Diddy currently faces, its viral spread has undeniably colored public opinion. Time and again, potential jurors admitted they had seen it or screenshots of it. When asked about its impact, many described it as damning, and seeing Diddy in the footage as angry and hostile. While some claimed they could still be fair despite seeing it, the defense views this widespread exposure as a significant danger, highlighting the challenge of finding jurors who haven't been heavily influenced by something outside the current charges. This video's lingering presence is casting a long shadow over the entire process. And speaking of presence, Diddy's courtroom appearance, a calculated play? Observers in the courtroom noted Diddy's appearance, describing him as noticeably thinner, pale, and with a significant amount of gray in his hair. Interestingly, reports also mentioned him wearing the same understated navy sweater, white shirt, and gray pants on consecutive days. While some saw signs of nervousness, like a shaking hand, analysis from legal experts suggests this overall appearance could be a deliberate strategy by the defense. By presenting himself in simple, repeated clothing and looking somewhat vulnerable or like a harmless older man, the aim might be to subconsciously influence the jury, creating a stark contrast between the man in the courtroom and the serious allegations he faces, particularly when compared to the perception created by shocking public videos. It's a calculated move in a high-stakes game. Unpacking the defense's high-wire strategy. The defense team isn't just focused on Diddy's look. They have a complex strategy at play. Their core argument, it's been reported, will acknowledge a controversial or swinger lifestyle, but draw a firm line at denying any criminal activity occurred. Some analysts suggest the defense might even strategically prefer potential jurors who have been exposed to the myriad civil allegations, including those involving minors or tapes, that are not part of this specific criminal trial. The thinking is that when these jurors hear the prosecution's case, which is focused on a narrower set of charges, they might feel underwhelmed, believing the evidence isn't as extensive as the public narrative suggested. Furthermore, the defense appears to be meticulously documenting every instance of potential jury bias or external influence. Many observers believe Diddy's legal team is already laying groundwork for potential appeals or arguments for a mistrial, gathering evidence of how challenging it is to get a fair trial in this environment. Trial turbulence and the looming delays. Given the slow pace and significant challenges in finding suitable jurors, it's becoming increasingly likely that the trial will be delayed. Initially projected to last around 6 weeks for prosecution testimony alone, plus defense time and deliberations, the jury selection process is moving so slowly that it could push back key stages like opening statements, potentially stretching the entire trial well into the fall. The difficulty in seating an unbiased jury pool raises serious questions about whether a fair trial can even happen in New York City, leading some to speculate about the unprecedented possibility of a mistrial or even relocating the trial to a different state altogether just to find jurors without preconceived notions. The Diddy trial has begun not with dramatic opening statements, but with a behind-the-scenes struggle against missing witnesses, media-fueled bias, and the fundamental challenge of finding 12 impartial people. The slow pace and numerous juror dismissals highlight an almost unprecedented legal battleground, where public opinion and viral videos are colliding head-on with the requirements of a fair trial. Will they ever find a truly unbiased jury? And what happens if key witnesses remain in the wind? The path forward looks anything but clear, leaving everyone watching wondering just how this incredibly complex and publicly scrutinized case can possibly proceed without more dramatic turbulence.
Yeah, the jury will be seated today. They got witnesses, don't want to testify. What are we doing? I mean, they really about to pull a YSL in here and let this man get off, right? But I'm not here to decide that. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, please think about subscribing. See you in the next one.